Welcome to Important Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an update. I don't think people understand just how much China's resource strategy could change the world. It's 2026 and a new chill is gripping global trade, not from winter, but from Beijing. China has just imposed strict new controls on rare earth mineral exports, shaking industries worldwide. At the same time, it's making bold moves in the global soybean market, sending prices on a roller coaster. These aren't random acts. They're part of a calculated strategy for resource dominance. China is signaling its willingness to use economic power as a political weapon. Scott Bessent, a leading investor, warns that ignoring these signals is dangerous. China's goal: create dependency, making nations think twice before challenging its policies. Our access to vital materials for tech, defense, and even food could be cut off at any moment. This is the new reality. These moves come as global tensions over trade and technology are rising. By tightening its grip on rare earths, China reminds the world of its leverage. Its influence over soybeans impacts farmers and consumers from the US to Brazil. This is about more than economics, it's about national security and global power. We'll explore why rare earths and soybeans matter, and how China's control puts the US and its allies at risk. What can be done to counter this strategy and secure our future? The stakes are high, and the world is watching. Understanding this story is crucial. It affects us all. The era of resource power plays is here. Will the world adapt or fall behind? Let's dive in. The clock is ticking. The next move could change everything. Ever heard of neodymium or terbium? You use them every day. Rare earths, 17 elements, are the hidden engines of modern technology. They're not truly rare, but hard to mine and process without environmental damage. That's what makes them so valuable. These elements power your smartphone, laptop, and even wind turbines. Neodymium magnets drive everything from phone motors to electric cars. Lanthanum is in camera lenses. Cerium refines gasoline. Rare earths are essential for national defense. Fighter jets, missile systems, and drones all depend on them. The F-35 jet alone needs nearly half a ton of rare earths. They're also critical for green energy, electric vehicles, wind turbines, and efficient lighting. Without them, our tech and climate goals stall. When China restricts exports, it's not a minor issue, it's a direct threat to progress and security. Imagine a world where new phones, cars, and even military gear grind to a halt. That's the power of rare earths. They're the invisible foundation of our modern lives. Control over them means control over the future, and right now, that control is in China's hands. Now, let's talk soybeans, a simple crop with global impact. Once a staple in Asia, soybeans now feed the world. They're a primary source of protein for people and animals, and a major source of vegetable oil. Soybeans become tofu, soy milk, and countless processed foods, but most soybeans feed livestock, fueling the world's meat and dairy industries. As demand for meat rises, so does the need for soybeans. A stable soybean supply keeps food prices in check and farmers in business. Disruptions ripple through the food chain, raising prices for meat, eggs, and dairy. Millions of farmers' livelihoods depend on this golden bean. Soybeans are more than food, they're a strategic commodity. China's moves in the soybean market can shake economies from the US Midwest to Brazil. A single shift in buying patterns can create winners and losers overnight. In global trade, soybeans are leverage. Control the supply, and you control the table. The humble soybean is a powerful tool in international negotiations. It's a quiet force shaping what and how the world eats. In the hands of a major player, it's a weapon, and right now, that player is China. China's rare earth dominance is no accident. It's decades in the making. Leaders invested early, accepting environmental costs others wouldn't. Deng Xiaoping once said, "The Middle East has oil, China has rare earths." Today, China refines nearly 90% of the world's rare earths. Even if other countries mine them, most processing happens in China. This creates a global bottleneck, and Beijing holds the key. In 2010, China cut off rare earths to Japan, causing panic and price spikes. The latest export controls echo that warning. The US and its allies are deeply exposed. Decisions in Beijing can halt factories and defense projects worldwide. This is a strategic vulnerability that's only grown. The alarm bells are ringing, louder than ever. The world is scrambling for answers. China's power in soybeans comes from being the world's top buyer, not producer. It imports over 60% of all traded soybeans, shaping global prices and terms. This demand feeds China's massive livestock industry and ties US and Brazilian farmers to Beijing's decisions. During the US-China trade war, China slapped tariffs on US soybeans, devastating American farmers and shifting business to Brazil. China plays suppliers against each other, rewarding friends and punishing rivals. Now China's state-run companies make huge coordinated purchases, spiking or crashing prices at will. Heavy investment in ports and storage in Brazil gives China even more control. As the dominant customer, China influences not just price, but the entire supply chain. The result, a new soybean Silk Road, with all paths leading to Beijing. Food has become a tool of power. The world's farmers are watching, and worrying. The balance of power has shifted. For the US, China's grip on rare earths and soybeans is a double threat. The Pentagon relies on rare earths for advanced weapons. Any disruption could cripple defense. Tech giants need rare earths for innovation. A cutoff means shortages, higher prices, and lost jobs. The entire industrial base is exposed to a single point of failure. On the farm, American growers depend on China as their top soybean buyer. Trade tensions mean falling prices and economic pain in the heartland. US farmers are pawns in a global chess game. Washington faces a tough question: how to secure supply chains without escalating conflict. The wake-up call is here. A national strategy is urgently needed. The time to act is now. The US isn't alone. China's strategy exposes vulnerabilities worldwide. Europe and Asia's tech and auto industries depend on Chinese rare earths. A supply crunch would hit Germany, Japan, and South Korea hard. Allies now see dependency as a collective security risk. China's export threats could silence critics and fracture global alliances. In agriculture, China's shifting soybean purchases create winners and losers, deepening economic dependence. The global trading system is at risk of splintering into political blocs. Resource access is becoming a matter of alignment, not just market forces. The world faces a more unstable, unpredictable future. The US and its allies are scrambling for alternatives. For rare earths, the answer is diversification, developing mines in Australia, Canada, and Vietnam. But mining is only half the battle. Processing capacity outside China is the real challenge. The US is investing in new plants and offering incentives to rebuild this industry. Innovation is key, using rare earths more efficiently, developing substitutes, and ramping up recycling from e-waste. For soybeans, diversification means finding new export markets and reducing reliance on China. New trade deals and domestic uses like biofuels can help insulate farmers. The goal, a more resilient, stable supply chain. It's a slow, costly process, but essential for security. The world is learning the hard way. Dependency is dangerous. The race for alternatives is on. The outcome will shape the next era of global trade. The era of stable, apolitical supply chains is over. China's resource moves are a wake-up call. Essential materials are now tools of power. The US needs a long-term, bipartisan resource strategy, supporting the entire supply chain from mining to recycling. Rebuilding industrial capacity and strengthening alliances is critical. International cooperation is essential. Shared vulnerabilities demand a united response. Joint investments, research, and a collective front can blunt China's leverage. Vigilance is key. This challenge won't disappear overnight. Leaders, industries, and the public must stay alert and informed. Supporting policies for economic security and resilience is everyone's job. The rare earth and soybean power play is just the beginning of a new global order. Our ability to adapt will define the future. The stakes: technological progress, economic stability, and national security. The world's next chapter starts now.